Welcome back! We have returned to Delta Bergsalon 5 in an attempt to rescue Stellar. And we are back in the Ascendo pad, which, as I said before, it has a wealth of messages, which I skipped before, but now let's take a look around.
The wall panels of the Ascendo pad are formed from a core of fiber steel between dual layers of expanded polycarbonate sheathing that's guaranteed not to rust, chip, peel, or need repainting for at least 12 millennia. This is probably more than you wanted to know.
That's a safe bet.
This port interfaces visiting shuttles with the Ascendo pad. This portway interfaces the Ascendo pad with most of the rooms in the Golden Light Years Research Building. These hermetically sealed components house the Ascendo pad's direction correction connections, the quark torque fork, and the ascension descension suspension tension extensions.
Try saying that 10 times fast.
The Ascendo pad works much like an elevator. In fact, if you can figure out why we didn't just call it an elevator, please let us know.
3 words, I think. Rule of funny.
Beneath the Ascendo pad, the lift bay relay outlay array quietly does its thing.
And if anyone knows what that thing is, I don't know what.
These hydraulic brakes allow the Ascendo pad to stop smoothly. Note that you can't really see them from where you are, but you somehow sense they're there. Yeah, that's it. You somehow sense that they're there. That's the ticket.
No need to get sarcastic.
The Ascendo pad slides smoothly along these 4 rails, usually.
Usually? Should I be worried?
The Ascendo pad...
Now you might think that's it, but it's not.
You mistake the dual layers of polycarbonate sheathing for some sort of lickable wallpaper, and you give the wall a lick.
Hey, the snozberries taste like snozberries.
An actual taste message. The only one in the game, I think. Wait, did we look at the sign? No, I don't think so.
This display shows you the Ascendo pad's current location.
Ah.
Unless you miss your guess, this button will take the Ascendo pad to the docking bay. Your highly developed sixth sense tells you that this button will take you to someone's quarters. Your keen janitorial instincts tell you that this button takes you to Lab A. Every fiber of your being cries out, "This button will take me to Lab B."
He's good at this, isn't he?
I want to go to the docking bay. Up, up and away!
Unfortunately, the elevator does not respond to verbal commands.
You attempt and fail to press the quarters button with your tongue.
Ben Gay.
You deftly attempt to press the Lab A button with your tongue. Unfortunately, you lack the lingual strength to depress the button fully, but you deduce from the taste that whoever pushed this button last has recently been sifting through sewage.
Well, that's good to know, I guess.
Take me to Lab B. I have clearance.
Believing you utterly, the Ascendo pad immediately descends to Laboratory B, where it drops you off and you save the galaxy. The end. As if.
What else can we do?
The lift bay relay outlay array is permanently lubricated. Licking it will not help. Don't distract them. They're holding your life in their hands.
Hi, Drolix.
Wow, that has to be the worst joke of the entire game.
It's times like these that we know your elevator doesn't quite reach the top. It's no use screaming for help at a time like this. Nobody cares what happens to you.
That's actually a plot point, believe it or not.
You're about to ask, "Where am I?" until you notice that the little lights overhead actually spell out the name of the location. Wow!
And another fun one, probably one of my favorites here.
I bid thee close.
If you're staying in here, Graham, I'm going out there.
The first time I heard that, I was literally rolling on the floor. That is a brilliant joke, but only if you've played King's Quest V. If you haven't, you wouldn't understand this. So then go play it, then come back to this, or wait until I do a Let's Play of it, which might be a while. Then come back to this, you'll get it, and you'll agree with me that it's funny.
Open, you.
Oh, he only does that with this door. Okay, well, if you can talk to it again when it's closed, you'll get a similar message.
From inside the Ascendo pad, you can't reach the lift bay relay outlay array. Heck, you can't even say lift bay relay outlay array. You can't operate these hydraulic brakes manually. You'd shear your hand off into a thin smear of blood, mashed flesh, and pulverized bone.
I want to see that.
But hey, it's something to think about, right?
Sure.
The Ascendo pad guide rails are, like elementary algebra, beyond your grasp. You try to rust, chip, peel, or repaint the walls of the Ascendo pad, but the dual layers of expanded polycorbamide prevent you.
They're true to their word.
Don't touch it. You'll break the magic spell that keeps it working.
Oh, so technology is magic. Good to know.
These components are permanently sealed, so that clumsy, ham-handed adventurers who like to fiddle with everything won't accidentally kill themselves.
Well, it was nice of them.
You're far too much of a wuss to pry open the portal doors.
Plus, they don't actually open on this level.
Just walk through it. No sleight of hand is required.
Okay, I think that's about it. The reason this screen has so many more messages than all of the others is apparently because this is one of the few screens of the game where Josh Mandel actually wrote the script. Whereas he didn't for most of the other locations. I think he also did the what's it called? The replicator. Mr. Soylent, that's the name I was looking for. And apparently he really likes these kinds of silly messages, so that's why there's so many of them.
You press the Lab B button, but the Ascendo pad doesn't move. Apparently you need some sort of clearance to get to Lab B.
So it won't open. I didn't want to go to Lab B anyway.
No messages for this. It's a bit of a shame. Anyway, we could try and return to the scene of the crime, which is the quarters. Except it seems that the doors aren't opening. Now that this door is closed, actually.
I bid thee open.
If you're going in there, Graham, I'm staying out here.
Which is the inverse of the message we just got.
Open, you.
Which it still doesn't do.
You're far too...
You can't go outside at the quarter, so let's try Lab A instead, which is the only place we can actually go. And here we can go out the door.
Wow, a mad scientist working on a planet called Delta Berxalon. You wonder what he's doing here? Designing women, perhaps?
I think I'm missing a reference there.
Sorry?
We've been here before, it's where we originally beamed in.
This is one of the nanotechnology laboratories in the Golden Light Years research installation. It's too dark to make out any details beneath the grid, but you think you can hear whirs, clanks, and clicks far, far below.
Well, this one has a funny one too, actually.
Just for the purposes of exploration, you hork a loogie down the grid to see how long it takes to splat at the bottom. You never hear a splat.
Cool.
Indeed, my friend. Indeed.
A beautiful ruby-backed flagellant hops around in this cage, whipping itself with its prehensile tail. You peek inside the cage and see... Prip Thrip, a kind of moth that beats you up, steals your team jacket, and then eats it.
How evil.
A cybergenic incubator. You've heard about them. You've seen pictures in magazines, but you never thought you'd actually get to see one up close.
Big whoop.
Narrator was more impressed than Roger is, apparently.
An overhead readout constantly displays the lab status. Oddly, it reports that all conditions report green. Perhaps it's colorblind.
Perhaps.
A couple of Bunsen burners sit on the counter.
Indeed they do.
Hey, they've got their own multiband UV wave bath straight out of the Ed Mundane catalog.
I don't know what that is. Can we turn on the Bunsen burners and burn the place down?
They're permanently attached to the counter. You're hosed.
We didn't need them.
The lab table is illuminated by a full-spectrum trithisonium bulb that simulates the naturally occurring light of a trinary star system.
Useful.
This is the only piece of equipment in the lab that's totally unfamiliar to you.
That's quite surprising.
It appears biomechanical in nature, with a metallic skin that seems to expand and contract slightly.
I have no idea what it is.
You're not sure whether to turn it on, turn it off, open it, close it, disassemble it, pet it, wear it, whip up a batch of margaritas in it, launch it, or clean it. So in your decisive way, you do nothing with it.
Good choice, probably.
Do you understand me? Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Parlez-vous français? Klatu barada nikto?
Apparently, it is either non-sentient or sentient, but a good enough judge of character not to want to encourage you. This depiction of a region holder is based on science fact and current NASA research. Science so hard, you could bounce an asteroid off of it.
That statement and hard science don't really go together, do they?
This depiction of...
An Erlenmeyer flask.
You think it's an Erlenmeyer flask.
Except it's not.
As usual, though, you're sadly mistaken. An Erlenmeyer flask is conical. This flask is spherical. Shows what you know.
Actually, I knew that, but I also knew that that was the message, so... Or am I just pretending that to cover up my own mistake? You'll never know.
This lab table has a conveniently round shape and pleasingly flat surface. It looks like a typical tank of smegminium, a cheesy substance used in the manufacture of projectiles, thrusters, and pistons. The markings on this tank indicate that it's full of Fresnon, a deadly nerve gas. Symptoms of exposure include slurred speech, a red neck, raisin-like wrinkling of the face and extremities, and a sudden fondness for livestock.
Oh, that's Fresno. Are you do anything with the cages?
Don't let the crip thrip out. It could be rabid, and there's nothing more dangerous than a rabid moth.
I can think of a couple of things that are more dangerous.
You'll keep your hand out of the ruby-backed flagellant's cage unless you're looking for an angry red welt across your knuckles. And who isn't?
I don't get it. We'll continue in the next video.